Very good evening, all the fellow human beings, wherever you are. This evening, I have thought of sharing some of my perceptions, some of my experiences, and some of my sights of this earthly life and its gorge. And it's all about how everything is transitory. It is, it remains for a few seconds or for a few years, and then it disappears from the scene. So my meditation, my contemplation rather, is on what is this? Why did this happen? Why so much of haste in getting the life to its end? Why no patience on the part of the angel of death uh, in regard to taking away somebody's life, something's life? So it's a worrisome sort of experience that all of us have, or at least most of us have. And as an individual, you have to respond to what goes in your mind, what you think of, what obsesses you, or what haunts you. So I've decided to speak something about what I feel about this transitoriness of everything that constitutes our earthly universe, our earthly world. Everybody knows that whatever begins comes to an end. Whatever is born has to get into death. Whatever is today will not be tomorrow. And this is something that exercises the minds of the human beings. Lord Buddha, he was Siddhartha, he was a prince, a married prince at one stage of his life, had a son, had a beautiful wife, had doting or loving parents, had the kingdom to take charge of, everything he had to live his life as kings or princes or royalties live. But then some of the questions haunted his mind, some of the things that put him out of rest. And he would be thinking, meditating, contemplating, asking himself so many things, trying to get the answers by himself. But then he could not. And that is why he had to get out of the palace. He had to leave everything behind. He had to uh, mm, he had to break the promises he might have given to his family members, to his parents, to his wife, to his lovely child, because he was not at peace with himself. He wanted to find out the answers to so many questions that crossed his mind. Why this birth? Why this life? Why this growth, so called? And why this wilting? You get grown as a plant, you get grown up as a human being, you get symmetrical as a lion, as a tiger, and how many creatures, how many things you will name. In everything, each thing in this earthly universe is born, it grows, it spends some time, and then it disappears. Robert Herrick, a poet, and very rightly he made an appeal to the daffodil that you are hastening away your stay on this earth, and you are cutting it short, or you are compelled to cut it short, or you don't have uh, any control over your passing away, so you are passing away. And the poet thinks that it's the plant, it's the flower, daffodil, that is in haste to get off this world. It is not the decision of the daffodil to get off this world, to pass off this world, but it was the warrant of death to that daffodil. And once the warrant is served on any creature, anything, then you can't do much. You only have to surrender. So daffodil was moving out of the scene of this world, and the poet, as a human being, appeals to daffodil, and that is emotional, sentimental, that is a kind of imagination. How can you talk to a plant, you being a human being? But the idea that is behind this attempt of the poet is that everything is transitory, everything is cut short, everything has a tenure, and you can't extend your tenure. The extender is unwilling. The extender is not giving you any sort of passage. It's too crude or too harsh or too strict or too dictatorial, too callous to listen to your pleas as to allow a creature or a person to have some more time on this earth because of some works that have not been completed, or because of some of the things that have not been seen, or because of some passions that creatures and human beings, or whatever is part of this earthly universe, wants to get through. So, uh, dear fellow human beings, I can't help speaking out my own worries, my own anxiety, my own pain when I see uh, a young child getting devoured by death. See this today, the first day of the so-called New Year. What is a New Year? What is an old year? There's no New Year. It's all for our convenience that we divide time into seconds and nanoseconds before that, and then minutes, and then hours, and then day or days, and so on. So 2021 came after 2020, and it's gone. You may count 365 days if in a year, then you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you can go up to 365, and 1 year's time is gone. So it is like just counting 365 number, and that much time, even less than that. So 21 was born out of the womb of 2020, and now it is already cremated. And out of the womb of 2021, 2022 has come. It will be cremated. It will be dead. It will come to an end, and then 2023. I mean, time is seen, or time is felt in terms of our own getting past our life, getting past our vitality. So it is not the time that flows. It is not the time is constant, I think. Time is always the same. It was the same. It's the same. It will remain the same. It's as though as when you are in a train, and that runs very speedily, or that runs at a faster speed, and then you see that on either side of the rail track you have trees or plants, or uh, uh, even other things, human beings also. So it's the train that runs, but people feel inside the train that it's the things outside the train tracks that keep moving, or that are moving. So time doesn't flow, time doesn't run, time doesn't fleet. It is human beings, it is creatures, it is the things that fill up the spaces on this earthly universe. What has been putting me into consternation, or what has been disturbing me all the time, is this quickness, this transitoriness, this suddenness of disappearance or ceasing, that you live, you talk, you move, you walk, you earn for your living, you have relationships with people, social relationships, and then one day you don't even know that that day is going to be your last day, and you have a heart attack, or an accident you get into, or a snake bites you, or anything that you may name or you may not know the name of, becomes the cause of your death, and then you get gone. And then people come to see the dead body, and many of them exclaim, "How could that happen? I saw him walking around the park in the morning, and he was so sanguine, he was so lively, he was so much interested in talking about issues of society And he was so much optimistic about getting his plans executed nicely so that the result should be all right for him and everybody else related to him. And then suddenly I see that his dead body is lying. How could that happen? So this surprise, not only on the face of one person, on the faces of so many people. So our life doesn't have any guarantee. It doesn't have any certainty. It's so uh, evaporate, evaporating. It's so bubble-like. It's so brittle that any time it breaks. When things fall from a height to the ground, then the breaking is natural. You understand that it is because of the impact of the fall that the thing got broken into pieces. But sometimes a thing that should not be breaking on the palm, and that is seen that cracks have come or it is breaking down into pieces. My pain is this, that 21 and now no more 21, 22. I see on the screen of this laptop also 21. And sometimes they write the date like first they write in the month and then the date and then year usually. And sometimes year first and then month second and date last. And they keep on changing and they say that this is the style in trend now, that was the style now, that is obsolete, that is old. Nothing is old, nothing is new. Men only try to invent so-called newer ways. And what is new? Nothing is new. You only pretend to be making things new. They say that the same wine in the old bottles, or you can say in the new bottles, the old wine. Human beings are so foolish and they pretend to be so clever. See the whole ads world, the world of the internet, television, everywhere, artificiality. If you are a so-called cinema star, you come to be interviewed in the studio, you are welcomed as if you are everything. Nothing is like you. Or you have all the qualities, and they coax you into speaking. They speak so politely, and they make you hero or heroine. And what is the purpose? The purpose is only to sound very good, very impressive, so that her rating as an anchor is high, and she is promoted or she is given more salary, more payment for her work on the television. Interviewers on the television, maybe television shows of interviews of personalities, generally political personalities, powerful people, a nice person, a good person without resources, without money, without influence in the corridors of power, you don't have any entity. You don't get consulted. You are not invited to come to speak out on what you think about different issues that the world faces. You are not invited to talk about what sort of politics is going on, because you will be speaking the truth. And truth is so bitter to all these people. So television anchors, news collectors, reporters, all these people, they speak lies, hundreds of lies in a day. And they, by virtue of speaking lies, by virtue of pretending, by virtue of acting, by virtue of deceiving people, they become influential. You can't be influential unless you speak lies, unless you have the capability to distort things, unless you have the ability or shamelessness of using the words and eating the same words, saying something now, and when you get confronted as to how did you say that or what was your purpose, and if you feel as if you have been uh, cornered, then you just say, no, no, I never said that, or even if I said that way, it was out of context and I have not been interpreted the way I should have been. So people make excuses. This world is so artificial and so filled, so much full of falsehood and all. That is why, see, celebration. Why this today, New Year's Day celebration? What is the cause of celebration? Uh, this very morning, I heard on the television so many stories of accidents and deaths and fights and conflicts and killings and maimings and butcherings. and Happy New Year, Happy New Year. What is this Happy New Year? How did this happy this year start being happy? What impression has been given? Every year you say Happy New Year, and sad things happen on the very first day of the year. Bad things happen on the very first day of the year. More killings are done, means if killings had been done, butcherings had been done on the first day of 2021, then perhaps more have been done on the first day of 2022. And still people wish one another Happy New Year. People should keep silent, in my opinion. Let things happen. You just live naturally, and don't spread rumors. Don't depend on the news analysis, and every news television channel, every television channel claims that, well, that channel or their channel is the best channel. Their channel is the channel that you can say give people only the right information, only the truthful information. The analysis is impartial. Every channel says that that channel is the most popular, as every political party says that people are with that party, as if people are uh, almost bought by them, or people are taken for granted. You'll be laughing at this situation. Party A, Party B, Party C, Party D, at the times of elections, each party claims that this time around, the election is going to be won by that party because the people in the state, in the country, are in support of that party. The other party says the same thing. The other party says the same thing. The fourth party says the same thing. Who is speaking? Or which party's spokesperson gives the correct? And we know, human beings know, all the listeners know that they are divided. And they are divided because of being white, because of being black, because of being brown, because of being pale. They are divided on the basis of religion, this religion, that religion. They are divided on the basis of class sameness or class differences. They are divided on the basis of their physical symmetry or the very lack of that symmetry. So the world should have been allowed to live naturally, truthfully. Lions are lions, tigers are tigers. Now it is not up to man to make leveling between tigers and lions on the one hand and jackals and wolves on the other. It's nature's work. But jackals have to live, wolves have to live, as lions and tigers have to live. All creatures have to live. But then nature has made predators also, prey also. Why did nature have to make prey? The goats, the deer, the lower animals, and the, you can say, carnivorous animals. So when these things you see on the channel, Animal Planet or whatever, sometimes you feel so much bad. You feel as if you should not live any further. You should kill yourself. That a tiger comes and a poor, beautiful, docile sort of deer or deer's young one, doe, or whatever sex, male or female, of the species gets killed, and the blood all over is split. The bits of flesh and bones everywhere. Is this nature? Is this the kindness of nature? What might have been the scheme of nature? That you make an animal as a predator, as a killer, and you make another animal as the as its prey, as something getting killed at will or chances. Sometimes you are successful in escaping the jaws of a tiger or a hyena, and sometimes you don't get any escape. So all around us we see killings, butcherings, maimings, violence, speaking lies. Earlier there was a tradition in some of the places of the world that the children would not lie to the parents, and the parents would not lie to the children. Children of this family might lie to the parents of the other family, or the children of this family might lie to the children of the other family. But inside a family, the inmates of a family, they would at least be honest to one another. They wouldn't be lying. They won't be pretending. They won't be making statements which they don't feel all right about, but they make. A child doesn't have any hesitation in speaking lies to its father, to its mother. Parents also, because parents are more responsible, but they speak lies to the children. They spend time in the clubs, they spend time somewhere, and when they come back home, they tell children that they could not come at the appointed time or the promised time or the given time because they had important meetings in the offices. The mother, the father, both of them working in different offices or in the same office, they may have spent their time drinking or gossiping or analyzing the scandals of their, you can say, friends and all that. But when they come back home, they speak lies to the children. So children just copy the lifestyles of their parents. They observe, they study, they see. As long as they are not sure about the lying habits of their parents, okay, they keep to themselves and they keep on being honest to their parents. But once they are sure that the parents have been lying, then they become bigger liar. They become bigger liars and more crude liars. This is how society has started to behave. Everybody says no, that the old is gold. Of course, if you are honest to yourself, you see things were bad earlier also, things are bad now also. But at least human relationship, that was not based on so much of deception. Deception has been, deception will remain as long as this earth survives, as long as this earth has all the creatures that have been on this earth. But the speed at which the lies are sold out, the lies become the basis of progress, the frauds become the basis of money generation. You are taught in the management classes how to outsmart the competitor companies or the competing companies, and they tell you how to be clever. They give you deadlines and they give you that lure of money, and the money remains, but you get gone. You are so much under pressure to meet the deadline. Why deadline? Let things happen according to their course, natural course. A work has to be done. If you have to write a letter in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you should have that time. But you have to finish the letter within 2 minutes. And that sort of competition also is organized. That you have to write a letter having 1500 words and you have to write in 15-20 minutes. Sometimes you take 1 hour, 2 hours to write a letter like that. So you have beauty contest. What is this beauty? Why should one contest to prove that one's beauty is higher than somebody else's beauty? You have beauty, see, Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss Universe, and who organize these contests? The business people, the unscrupulous who have hoarded money. They don't pay taxes, and in them not paying taxes, you have the cooperation of the people in the governments whose duty is to see to it that taxes that are to be paid to the government's coffers have to be paid. And you check this. The ones who don't pay, the ones who default, should be brought to justice, should be brought to punishment, but that doesn't happen. So these people, and then when the contest is there taking place or about to be over, then these business people, they put their hands around the shoulder, around the waist of the winning beauties or whatever, handsome, Mr. Handsome, Miss Beauty, and they enjoy. They organize programs like meet and greet, and then vote and enjoy. So meet and greet, you kiss, and then you get kissed. So it's all so uncivilized, so bad. A 16, 18-year-old, suppose, happens to be giving the impression that the queen of the beauty queen title is a favor done to her. And no, she becomes a cocoon type person. She or he becomes so much of a flatterer, and you just spread out your mouth and you open your mouth and you show your teeth in so vulgar way. You start weeping. Means there is no Miss Universe or Miss World that doesn't weep at the time of crowning. No, it's not needed. Why should you weep? But that has become a tradition. And then the other people who are the compeers or other people who organize the show, they also start weeping. You see the music shows, the songs and dances. So they have the hankies and all these judges and all. They pretend to be so emotional or getting so emotional that they need hankies to wipe off their tears or moistened eyes and all. Anybody can see through the tricks of these people. So what I have concluded that the world is filled with falsifiers, the traders of lies, the fraudsters, because you are not allowed to live a natural life. What is the use of acting? The more acting you do in the films, the more you teach bad people how to deceive. Because you smile, you act, you do whatever, you become a hero in the eyes of the young people. And who are these young people? The shopkeepers, the loafers, because not even 10% of the people they believe in reading books. They believe in walking down the stretches in nature. They don't believe in having sports and games. They just make money anyhow, and then they go to the theaters and they fill up the spaces in the theaters. And these people think that they are the heroes. They are. They earn money by taking huge fees at the cost of the film goers, and then they advertise. They become models. They amass money, and then they mm, they make not use of the money, they waste the money. And then they work as if they are colossus. They work as if they are the superheroes. That no one in the world is of any quality, only they have the qualities, only they have the sense as to how to speak the best way, only they know how to dress, and the way they dress. You become a heroine, and what is the first qualification? That you bare your body, and you become shameless. You speak out things that should not be spoken. Everything you can't speak in the presence of public. Everything you can't do in the presence of public. There are certain limitations that you love when it is time to love. You walk hand in hand with your friend when it is time. You don't speak anything that comes to your mind because that way you are paid. So the entire world, from the world of music and all, musicians and all. So a person who has a good voice sings well, and that singer is exploited in many ways. An actor who is good, you say, you have that couch casting and all that. That if you are a nice actor, a good actor, and you want to do good acting on a good role, you are diverted, you are cheated, you are compelled to go unfair ways, you are compelled to have illicit relations by force of the bribe or by the threat that you won't get any role if you don't do that. And these people become famous, they get invited, they get rewards and all. So the topic that this transitoriness, you have to live naturally and live fully, live with satisfaction, live at least have the impression that you have lived according to nature. But so much of fiction, no fact, so much of artificiality, no originality, and everywhere people are copying. See, at night, let's say birthday is celebrated. So birthday is let's say 2nd Jan, and that 2nd Jan takes place after 12 this night. That is not the time here in this part of the world, in India or Nepal or other places. At 12, you keep awake just to have the formality of wishing somebody happy birthday to you. Yes, at 12, when it is 12 in India or Nepal, then it is maybe day hours or morning hours in the West, and they have made it. So morning, the sunrise begins the day. So if you are born on the 2nd of Jan, then let the sun rise, or maybe let the sun rise, and then the day begins. The sun appears in the sky, and the day begins, and then you start, or not just after the sunrise. You get up, you have suppose a nice bath, first a mini bath, then a nice bath. You just look at the sun, you just have a walk, talk to people, and then it is time that you start phoning or giving telephone calls, congratulating or giving the greeting of happy birthday. So everywhere artificiality, everywhere formality. And the more formalities are done, the more imitations increase and human life becomes burdened. Formalities, oh, you have SMSs, or you have so many messages in a mobile, 2 hours, and you have to reply. If you don't reply, then problem. So why to reply? You meet people once in a fortnight. Yes, important information has to be shared, and for that it is all right. But for formalities and all, people are busy all the time, mobile or this and that. They don't read books, they don't walk, they don't do work, they don't exercise. And life is becoming such a stale thing, such a dull thing. You see around people are having money, uh, unfair ways. Those who don't have money, they have the problems. They don't get even essentials to sustain life. And those who have so much because they have frauded, they have cheated people, that they live in very filthy luxury. That is not luxury. A luxurious life is the life where when you live simply, when you make use of the things minimally, you don't waste things, you don't overuse things. That is luxurious life. That is a rich life. But people think that a rich life means you have resources that you just waste, you overuse, you abuse, and you are a rich man. A rich man is a person who believes in simplicity, natural living. You make use of things as per the requirements. You uh, go on wearing the same sets of trousers and shirts and all that if they last, if they are all right. But because you have money, every day you go shopping, every day you bring and you get your suppose house cluttered, and then you give these things to some people after having put on or used for 10, 15 days. Why not? You have for yourself, suppose 6, 10, 15, 20. You don't need 200 suits. You don't need suits worth thousands upon thousands. That is not the right use of money. So people have been imitating. Sons have started calling their parents yar or comrade. If you are the member of a communist party and your father also is a member of the communist party, you don't call him as dad, let's go home. Comrade X or Y, let's go home, comrade. So much of degeneration, the way people have started talking, the language that people have started misusing, the words that should be used are have been forgotten, and the words that are vulgar and bad and foul, these are, you can say, at the center of the use. That's why W.B. Yeats, he rightly said, and I feel so much the same way, that the words are full of intensity and they are at the center. They hold the courts. They are the arbiters. They are the judges. And the best people, few and far between, they are cornered. And nobody is concerned where they are, what ideas they have to make this world better. The, the worst people, the cheats, the deceivers, the hoarders, the economic offenders, the anti-people individuals, they are in politics. They send fears into the masses. They divide people in various names on various grounds. And all these bad people, they have such a nexus. They have such a strong bond that they enjoy. Of course, their enjoyment is again transitory because they have to account for all the misdeeds. But then the world sees that what happens after death, nobody knows. You live by gun, you die by gun. You die by gun, of course. But as long as you have lived by gun, you have lived as a lion, so-called lion. And those who don't take to guns, those who don't believe in live by guns and die by guns, those who believe in non-violence, tolerance, peaceful living, these people, they live in penury. They live under threats. Most of such people They live under constant threats. They live through constant humiliations, and then they die. But after their death, you would call them non-violent. What is the use? This life, that is for 50 years or 100 years, in this life, there should be justice. The bad should be discouraged to be bad or to go worse. The bad people who don't listen to the sane advices, they should be punished. And good people who believe in live and let live, such people have a right to live fully. Such people have a right to live in a decent manner, in a satisfactory manner. But it is these people who are crushed, and it is these people who are compelled to get into the mouths of death before it is time for them to die. So I want that let there be some sort of emergence, some sort of appearance of some power that regulates, that does justice. And those who deserve to live longer, those who deserve to live joyfully, they should be allowed to live undisturbed. And those who are the hindrances, or those who are the criminals, those who are bad people, those who make the atmosphere vitiated, polluted, those who by their misdeeds and their falsehoods and their bad behaviors, their crimes, they make the very atmosphere so dirty that that you can't even breathe in. You don't feel like breathing in a place where you have corrupt people, bad people, marauders, careless people, unfeeling people, shameless people. So, if transitoriness is the law of nature, then it should be more applicable on those who are dastardly, those who are bad, those who breach the peace of society, those who don't allow good people to live. Meritorious students, they want to be doctors, engineers, whatever. They don't have money. They have written their papers, but their papers are changed. Their papers are not evaluated. And those who have money, they buy the question papers. They buy the answers, they buy the results, and they get into medical colleges, engineering colleges. They become bureaucrats. And all these people are corrupt people. What sort of medicine that doctor will prescribe who has got the degree but who has no experience, no knowledge? Spurious medicine is everywhere. Those who manufacture spurious medicines, they give commissions to shopkeepers, and shopkeepers also canvass the medicine buyers that buy these medicines of these companies and all that, because they get heavy commissions. And the manufacturers who are honest and they don't make their medicines spurious or chemically dangerous, such medicines don't sell in the market, because you don't have the medical representatives, you don't have the shopkeepers in favor of their getting sold out to the patients or to the relatives of the patients. Uh, this scenario, all these things that keep on happening and happening at a dangerous speed, very frustrating, extremely saddening. And out of these emotions, sentiments that I see around, I speak sometimes with a heavy heart, and I wish that God manifests Himself, God does something, be visible, at least in the distribution of justice, at least in the administration of justice. If you are a God, if you are the maker, or if you are not the maker, then somebody should come up. Some humans should be superhumans. They should be gods. They should be goddesses. And they should control the things so that the world remains civilized. The world lives peacefully in a fragrant atmosphere, not the way it has been living. So, this much in this stream, in this talk. Thank you a lot. If you have been listening, or if you will be listening in the future, thanks a lot. God bless us all. Bye bye.